Okay, so number one.
Should have deleted this video.
Alright, so we're back with the review of Horizons. You saw a 3-player game.
No, you saw a 2-player game with a third person who just kind of sat there.
You saw a 3-player game of us playing Horizons with playing the races with their unique side of the card. So, I won.
These are always the worst videos.
These are the best ones because they happen so infrequently. especially on stuff like this. I just usually get hammered. Jeb usually takes home the prize. But
I did in our practice game.
But you know what? Every once in a while, Mickey deserves a victory. So
yeah.
Here you go. Anyways. For me, Daily Magic didn't let me down again. I hate to make take the big boy comparison, but there are some feels that are reminiscent of Twilight Imperium in it, in terms of, I mean, you don't get the battles and things like that, but you do have the, hey, I need to work with these, building the stuff on the fly is a little bit different, but in terms of like, hey, I need to take control of these certain areas, kind of like TI, there is that little bit of aspect of area control in the game. I'll probably leave it at that for the comparison there, but I do think they did a good job, if you watch the intro, of trying to take a 4x4 game feel and put it into an hour-ish game.
Definitely
in my opinion.
A great game that will transition you into one of the larger games.
Yeah.
Because I played Twilight Imperium pretty early, and if I had played this first, I would have been like, whoa, that actually flowed pretty well, because this I got really quick. Twilight Imperium was like 7-hour days.
Yeah.
That's hefty.
It's a... when you read the rules, you don't even think it's going to be that long. Then when you sit down at the table, you're like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's a different game. So, thumbs up for me, not just because I won. I like the feel of the game. Daily Magic hasn't let me down yet. The components are top notch. All of it, like the meeples, the cardboard. It's thick. The cards are nice. Everything. I don't know, haven't played enough on the unique sides to know if any of the characters are out of balance. Jeb's seemed really strange. We're trying to figure out, maybe his only works better with 5, or maybe he just maybe he didn't have that aha moment, this is what I'm supposed to do with moving these things around. Don't know. Mine was, Gary's was unique in the fact is he was able to build boom, 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 just so fast.
But he was only able to build
three things, so he had to be... I, on the other hand, started out, it took numerous turns for me to get going, but boy, once my engine was up, it was ridiculous.
Every time you built something, you got back more than what you spent.
I know, but if you remember the first couple turns, I got stuck because I don't know if I spent it wrong or what, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't find it, so I had to find an ally. I think it was an ally or something. Anyways, I just needed one time to get, I think what I was hurting on was the energy. Not the alloy or the steel or whatever they call it. And once I got that going and was able to get the other, flipping back and forth, that was really good. So, I think the standard side is awesome, especially for teaching. And in any game, I feel like that you've got new players or whatever, but after that, I think you go for it on the other ones. And I would almost say, because of what we saw with Jeb, particularly with people that have played the game before, you don't get to pick your thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think you randomize with this game myself. And, you know, I don't know, maybe Jeb was supposed to, you know, focus on certain allies. Who knows? I know he did feel like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I'm getting hammered. And he, not hammered from his drinking, hammered, like, Mickey beat him bad.
Well, you know, what really sucked was when I explored, I didn't even get any knowledge token, or the knowledge thing.
Yeah.
So I never really produced any of those, and then my ability, one of the main things was spin those to use my ability. So I'm like, am I just supposed to look for allies? I feel
Yeah,
like
but the only time you had to spend that is when you jumped
to a different
systems,
system,
which is probably the biggest benefit. I
Right.
mean, not that moving around in your own isn't useful, because the advantage of that is I can build on all the cheap planets and move to the expensive ones for nothing, basically. I mean, so we saw the value, just it was hard to, I think, if there was a difficulty rating, I probably would put Jeb's as one of the higher ones on there. But maybe, I don't know, we haven't played, there's a couple that we didn't, two that we didn't get to see played. I like the insert in the box, other than the fact is the wells for the meeples are so deep, it's actually hard to get them out.
Mickey got so mad at me because when I had the box off, and I was like, well, my fingers can't really reach in, so I was like, everywhere. He was like, no.
He did it anyway.
Yeah. He got everything out quicker.
But the insert is very good.
Yes.
But that part, but maybe that keeps everything in its place. I hope that it's a preview of things to come, but the insert is way overkill for what you get in the base game. There is plenty of room for other things. So I don't know if this if it catches on or not. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay of it. I don't think it's. I think it might look a little overwhelming, but gosh, once you do it,
when I first looked at the components and then opened up the rulebook, and I was like, whoa, this thing's going to be a lot harder. And then we sat down to play. I was like, holy crap, this was pretty easy, and it went quick.
Yeah,
so.
Especially with the fact that the fact of the doing only 2 things on your turn, and what is there, 5 or 6 things?
5 actions, I believe.
There's 5 actions that you have available, and there's a lot of the 5 actions that are very situational.
Yeah, you can't build if you don't have money, so you need to harvest before you build. I mean, if you don't have money, then you know you're not going to be building that turn.
And if there's something out there that you want to build on, you're almost instantly or ignoring explore until it's like, hey, wait a second, there's nothing out there that I like, or wait a second, I need this such and such for my mission card.
Yeah, or your mission cards are crappy, and you're like, oh, I need new ones.
Right, or whatever. So, yeah, it may look a little intimidating, but it's really not. And another one of, the infamous go in order, like Jeb always tells you to do. So, anyways, who would like this? I feel like this is definitely a game for people maybe that have been gaming for a little bit, and now they feel like they want to try something a little bit more complex, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word.
Like it's one of those
like an intermediate game.
I don't want to sit and play for 5 or 6 hours, but I kind of still want a feel of a game like that. So.
Well, I also meant in terms of the next step after a beginner game.
Yeah, I mean, you could try to do a beginner at it. I don't know how well they'd fare the first couple times, but I would definitely say it's more intermediate.
I mean, I feel like you could throw the game at somebody that's been gaming for a while. But I mean, I feel like if it's like, I guess where I'm going is, hey, you've got the group that's like, I love Ticket to Ride. I love Takedo. I love you know, this and that, and they're like, I want to try something more hearty.
More meat to it.
Yeah, more meat to it. This is going to play in the same amount of time as those games, maybe even shorter, but it's going to introduce some more complex concepts, I think, and a little more strategy, you know, more managing of your economy, a little. There's luck in the game in terms of like how some of the planets come out and what you draw for your mission cards, but overall, I would say it's more strategy based. Like, here's my resources. How can I capitalize on this?
Right.
Whereas something like a Ticket to Ride, you're at the mercy of the cars. I mean, there's a little bit of strategy if you want to screw somebody over with blocking their routes or something like that. But the meat of the game isn't, I wouldn't say, a gigantic strategy game at its heart. It's more like, here's the card I got. Am I going to be able to do that route? There's no, you know, you're not totally reliant on your mission cards here. Yeah, they're going to supply some victory points for you, but you have other ways to get victory points if none of those cards are gonna pan out. So, you know, I feel like they also kept the game really tight too for the most part. Like, Gary was actually a lot closer to me than I thought he was going to be. I kind of thought I was going to run away with that. I know that you were just like, I give up, but and that's not. I know I usually make fun of you, and that's not a making fun of you. It's just the way that game happened, and it was kind of one of those things where I thought he was kind of far behind too, but he wasn't. You know, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I dominated that star system and I got the most points. It's like, yeah, but this guy still got 3. You know, and you'd still take, and you don't know what mission cards he completed and stuff like that. They can tip it in your favor, as well as the knowledge tokens being victory points too, which is another thing that Jeb pointed out. He's like, well, I couldn't get those very easy, and my biggest ability actually used them, so what am I supposed to do? Anyways, I thought they did a great job with it, and I would bring it. I would bring it to the table, and I would bring this to a gaming group. I wouldn't bring it to a new person place, but I would bring it to a group and say, hey, you guys need to check this out because we can play this in an hour. So, what do you think? Who wouldn't like it?
I don't know.
Shep doesn't know.
I mean, I feel like people who play the large, hefty games, like, if they play this, it's just going to be on a smaller scale. So, I mean, if you're looking for something that's going to be huge and long, then it's like...
Scaled down version of it.
Right. If you don't want to play a simple game, then...
I feel like if you're not a strategy type of person, this is probably not for you. You know, if you're not a competitive person, this is probably not for you. You know, it's...
there's lots of resource, like, it's resource management, hand management, like, all that kind of stuff. If you don't want to have to think about all the intricacies of how they interact with each other, then you probably don't want to play it.
Right.
Because there is thinking involved.
Like we said before, this is, I mean, it's moving up there in the in the scale of complexity, so it's not, I wouldn't, you know, put it as I definitely wouldn't put it as a beginner game, but I wouldn't put it up as to one of the most complicated things I've tried to play before. I feel like the rules are pretty clear. Did we even look anything up when we played? Maybe
the only thing that Gary had asked about was when you exceed the energy tokens or the metal tokens or the allies or the number of cards in your hand, if you discard down immediately or if it's at the end of the turn.
Well, I know the resources are. You just have to be there at the end of the turn because we looked that up. I think.
Right. Everything's at the end.
Oh,
of the
everything's
turn.
at the end of the turn. So.
I think that was the only question that.
Oh yeah, because we looked up at the allies and it said you can, if you're able to pop them, you can, right? Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's about that's the biggest people that wouldn't want to play it was what I said, but.
I was going to say in the rule book there is also stuff on each of the specific races, right? Don't they give?
Yeah, that helps a little bit too because it's on your card, but it's
on the card
it's
is more
summary.
Flavor. I thought at least mine sounded like it was more flavor of.
But it tells
like
you
the
what your
race
ability
itself.
is. On it, but
in
it's
the middle
more.
Section?
No, on like the name changes.
Yeah,
on
the
your
actions and everything. But
and
I mean, there's the ability. I don't know. I guess
there's a much more elaborate explanation in the rule book than it. Read the rule book, look at your card, you'll understand what the card's saying better.
Right.
It's there on the card, but you kind of need to, the first time you play a specific race with their abilities, read the rule book so you're clear on what it does. Because as a matter of fact, there was one, it wasn't registering quite how mine was working, and I read it out loud to these two, we agreed, and, you know, and then I saw it was like, oh, this is a cool engine, but it's hard to get going too. So anyhow, yeah, I don't have too much more to say on it. I other than I do kind of hope they expand on this one. And if you like those bigger games, I'd give this a shot because you don't have to plan out 8 hours of it. I mean, shoot, you could play 2 games of it and switch races. Just to see if you're that good. Yeah. If you were the winner and be like, there would have been nothing better than taking Jeb's card and then winning a second game. That would hurt bad, wouldn't it, buddy?
That would have stabbed deep.
Should have tried that.
Nope.
All right, so, and you got anything else?
Yeah, they were nice enough to include an extra hex in it that was blank, and some people who are creative and hardworking that actually use that to draw and create a custom hex for this game specifically before the episode gets recorded. Yeah, there are people like that, and they seem to get denied when they present that hex during the game. So I will say that there is one hex that we don't know if it was meant to be for custom making or not, but it's there that you can do that. And I made a pretty cool one. I like it. I wouldn't be above saying if we hit 800 subs and somebody wanted it that I'd send it to them. But
I would be okay with that because I don't want it. Oh!
Wow! It's such a cool tile. Because I would have been green, Mickey would have been blue, our favorite colors, and we were planets. Our faces were planets. I mean, it was so cool.
I mean, if you would have put, like, one of those red things with a slash on the Jeb side, that would have looked pretty good.
Oh, so you can't pick that side, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awful. So, yeah, that's all I had to say.
All right, so...
That was the most important part.
So, there you go. There's the review of... There's the review of Horizons.
We will get to more daily Magic games. I know we mention it every time we do a game from them, but there are more games that we want to play and record for them. So
yeah, we do. I mean, we have
lots of Valerias.
We have lots of Valeria, which is one we like, and then I have, which one is it? Some Merchants of Abbey or something like that, which we haven't played yet. And
Sunrise City, which they didn't create, but they have the rights to. You always tell me that.
Well, I know. And then, yeah, I think there's something else too, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's it. Hopefully you like that, and until next time.
See ya.
Boards and booze, booze and boards, with Mickey and Jeb.